sticking with me through this whole time with Fear the Walking Dead and everything. So I'm glad you guys are all here and listening, and I'm totally stoked for this new season of The Walking Dead.
Yay!
Season 8. This is going to be a big episode here. We're going to talk about the season 8 premiere. We're going to have news and feedback from you guys. We'll have Grace and Mr. Blog back with Comic Talk.
Oh, great.
Apparently there's a lot there. And also a little extra special thing. I interviewed Lauren Wilson, who is a chef who wrote the new official Walking Dead cookbook.
Awesome.
So that's a quick little, and that book actually turned out to be really cool because it has like Carl's pudding and Carol's cookies and Jerry's cobbler, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't realize there were so many like iconic food items, but
that are featured in the show.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to make all these.
Spaghetti Tuesday on Wednesday or Spaghetti Wednesday on Tuesday.
Anything you can think of pretty much. I was like, where's the Terminus chapter? That's the only one.
Right, exactly. When do we get a side of Carl? And also, I mean, did it feature any Breen's recipes?
No, I asked her about that too. I forgot what she said, but it's in the interview, so if you guys listen, you'll hear. All right, but let's get on to the main course here.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's our Deadcast Top 5. This week it's our Top 5 highlights for Season 8, Episode 1, Mercy. Did this feel like a mercy after last season?
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Good, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Recall, if you will, Season 7, Episode 1. How did that whole thing play out for me last year? Do you remember?
You loved it so much that you could barely speak.
Very, very much.
No, you were highly disturbed and upset and annoyed by that first episode.
Anybody who takes a bat to my sweet
beloved,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Glenn and Abraham, they're not really winning any friendships with me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I've heard since then many people say they stopped watching right then. So
yeah, and you know
alone.
What? And I might have, had it not been for the podcast. I love doing the podcast and it's so much fun. I might have, but on the other hand, you know, I probably would have gotten over it just like I got over my Game of Thrones. I had I threw a tantrum for a minute with Game of Thrones, and then eventually I went back to it, and it turned out great. So I probably would have eventually come back anyway. So I'm glad I did, because I thought this episode was good, really good, a really strong first episode, not without its problems, because it is The Walking Dead, but it felt great to be back with the show, and I loved seeing my made up friends again. So yeah, I thought it was great, and I even think it feels, all the characters had a hopefulness about them and an optimism. They all seemed like this is one more battle, just one more battle. Of course, we know it's not going to be just one more battle, but it felt good. It felt hopeful, as opposed to the season premiere of last season, which felt terrible, and everything was, going to be awful under the tyranny of Negan.
Right.
So there you go. How about you? What do you think?
I loved it. I thought it was great. There's only one moment in it that I thought was kind of dumb, and all the rest of it, even though I was a little confused at times, I actually think that's totally okay. And I'll say why, but I thought it was a really good episode. I mean, I'm one who appreciates the despair of last season, and I knew that when this stuff started coming around, it would be that much sweeter because of how shitty we felt last time. And I mean, I felt like, God, maybe we didn't need to feel that shitty for that long.
Yeah, okay.
But still, now we're getting the fruits of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it feels great. It feels really good. So
I concur.
Let's get into the top 5. You go first.
Let's do it, man. Okay. So number 5. I'm going to get into it with Rick's visions of the future. So This might have been what you were referring to when you said that some parts seemed confusing. I think this probably was for a lot of people. It certainly was for me. And I don't actually know what's going on. I don't have some sort of podcaster special insight. So I basically made up my own theory about what's going on. Here's what I think is going on. I think that Rick is seeing two different visions of the future. One where things go well and he wins this battle, and he's imagining this dewy, kind of soft-focused, happy family scenario where little Judith is so incredibly cute and they're planning for a party and somebody's making a giant owl, which is sort of strange, but okay, I like owls. And then the other vision is where things are going really badly and he's got pink eyes, probably from crying. And that's what he would maybe look like if he lost his fight. And I'm sort of imagining that those are both the things that he's thinking about in that moment. And he's thinking about how this war could go one way or the other. And that's just my own little pet theory. How about you?
So you think the one where there's like a reflection of a prism coming from the stained glass painting or
window?
whatever. What would you call that? Window?
Yeah.
Well, it's like a framed piece of art. Anyways, that's the bad one.
Still a window. Yes. And that's what I'm at. His eyes are red. He's clearly been crying.
Yeah.
Either that or he has terrible, terrible allergies. Either way, it's a bad future. At
the end of that, he repeats the line that the stranger that Carl helps.
From the Quran.
May my mercy prevail over my wrath. So basically that means, please let me be merciful rather than wrathful. So it seems like there's some kind of a... See, I don't know what's going on either, but I was trying to go, oh, does that seem right to me? And it seems to me more if it was... things going bad versus things going well, that the bad one would be worse. And that to me feels more like there's some situation he gets in where he's trying to convince himself to be merciful rather than wrathful. And that's not quite like, oh, this is what would happen. I mean, it could be, but
we'll see, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, one thing about the other imagining or visual vision is it is all gauzy. And I think that's a similar treatment to when they showed Glenn with the baby.
Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't real because Glenn's dead. So does that mean that this is like that, you know, that it's just a fanciful imagining? I mean, it certainly had that quality to it of, oh, everything's so nice. Michonne's here. Carl, they're having a festival. There's like this lush garden.
Yeah.
It seems a little too good to be true.
It really does, doesn't it? A giant owl being fabricated.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to switch my list around because I'll talk about that more. Because my number 5 now is Playing with Time, and all this episode had a lot of jumping around.
Yeah,
it wasn't just that; it was the current storyline. They kind of jumped around in that.
Yes,
you know, like they had some preparation. They would go to his rousing speech intended to inspire them. And then, but it seemed like it went back and forth a little bit, which made it a little more confusing. But I loved it because I thought it was sort of like, and I might just, I don't know, this is maybe a little bit of wishful thinking, but to me, it felt like don't pay too much attention to the specific details of the chronology of this plot. The point is, these guys are all on the same page now. They're of singular purpose. They're being inspired. There's a sense of preparation, of a plan in action. And, everybody who had doubts, Morgan, Carol, even Rick himself, not anymore. Every time, no matter what point in the timeline they're showing these people, they are focused on working together to defeat Negan. And that was sort of, that felt so good to see, and it's like, it's more about the emotion of that for me. Like, I don't totally, it was a little confusing about what happened when and why, but I was not at all confused that these guys are ready to kick some ass.
There is a mission and part of the mission is they're working together and it felt really good. Yeah, I agree.
And I think even the jumping around a little bit forced me to feel that even more because I wasn't focused too much on the details, I think that's what,
Yeah.
like you listen to other Walking Dead podcasters sometimes and they're worried about what kind of bullets are in the gun or, the physics of a certain situation. I mean, we get like that too, but this felt definitely more like the emotion. That said, I think we can probably tease out what happened, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later. I wanted to get into...
Can you?
So there's the current time, there's the past, and that was addressed in the form of homages.
Yes.
There were homages to the pilot and elsewhere in the series.
Yep.
Do you have that as one of your points?
Nope.
Okay.
But it is something that I appreciated a lot.
Yeah. Like which one stands out to you?
A couple.
Which
for
ones?
one thing, the part where Carl goes to the gas station. I want to say it's a gas station.
Or he's looking for gas anyway. He has a gas
He's
can.
looking for gas, yeah. And he happens upon this place where there's a lot of cars, a lot of old cars, and he's walking around and checking things out. And then he hears somebody, and he looks underneath a car, and I was like, "Whoa, that looks like when Rick at the beginning sees the little girl in the bunny slippers."
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. So that's one of the ones.
And even like Carl looked into a car and saw a Zed and had this kind of sour look on his face. Rick did the same thing. I went back and watched in the pilot, exactly the same look. And then I think even a little bit later, because Rick comes in and shoots his gun and everything, that Rick sees a girl in a nightgown, and I don't know if I just imagined this, but it seemed to me like it could have been the same girl 7 years later.
Oh, that's
I mean, I'm
awesome.
sure that's not what they were saying, but it was sort of like a thematically like throwback kind of a thing.
Carol also sees a graffitied flower on the overpass.
Yeah. And she looked at it. She should never do that.
Don't look at the flowers,
away.
Carol.
What else? Anything else?
Those are the ones that stood out for me.
There was...
What am I missing?
Negan and Gabriel were inside this little like trailer or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a camera shot from above with the zombies all around like ants. It's
that
sort
tank.
of... Yeah. It's sort of like the
in
tank.
Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then this, I don't know if this really counts, but there's a zombie head when all the Zeds came. I forget exactly how this head got separated from the zombie, but you see its jaw working, and that's Nicotero head. It's a mold of his head, and it's an homage to Day of the Dead, which he acted in. He was a soldier, and he ended up being zombified and decapitated.
I wonder if it's the same head.
I don't know. I'm sure they rebuilt it. And then there was another one when Rick said, hey, I shot above his head. I didn't, I just wanted him to get out of here.
Yeah.
He could have been one of them. And Carl said, like a spy. And I'm like, that's because we all used to say Enid was a spy. They put that in there on purpose.
One of my notes was, hey, does anyone think Enid's still a spy?
If she did turn out to be a spy at this point, I would be so happy.
That is the longest con in the
She's
world
good.
of long cons.
Her parents were CIA agents. So the current timeline I've talked about a little bit, but there was also a lot of ticking in the score.
Yes, there was.
Which I liked. It just felt, and it was just all about the timing. Things are ticking along, and also, we have a certain timeline we got to stick to and all that. Then there was talk about tomorrow. Rick saying, I don't know if I can wait for it. Maggie's like, just one more fight. So it's like Rick wants to, I thought that meant he wanted to enact this lovely future that they saw.
Oh.
And he's wanting to start that soon,
Yeah.
Here's another thing that sort of is a fly in the ointment of maybe that being the good outcome, because he's got a cane and a limp. So he's been hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, that sort of reminds me, in the season finale of the last season, Jadis, is that her name? Jadis? Mm-hmm. She's the hipster trash queen. She shoots him in the side.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah. Okay. She full out shoots him. He is shot.
Doesn't bother him.
No, apparently not. He shakes it off. I mean, after that, we rewatched the finale. There she is shooting him. He's definitely shot. And then later on, he goes and he makes sure that he kneels down, makes sure Michonne's okay, and they have a moment. And then I'm like, wasn't he shot? I said that to David. David's like, yeah, he was shot. So, listeners, can you please tell me what I'm missing here? Did it ricochet off him?
I want to go back and look now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know Michonne, she got beaten up. And
yes, she did. And she got pushed off the scaffolding, too.
And that's why she's not going into battle, because she's still suffering from that.
She's suffering.
She says everything hurts. So, yeah, if he, I mean, my guess, it was a graze.
Yes, I'm thinking. And David said maybe she just got like the fleshy part of whatever she got.
Right.
Like,
he
okay,
didn't need it. Yeah.
No,
He's
just
got
the fleshy
kidneys. Part. So then there's this flash forward, which I thought was really fascinating. I kind of hope it's a flash forward.
That it's real.
This is the future.
A glimpse of the future. That would be lovely. If that's the future, then bring it on, man. I'm all for it.
So a few things. For some reason, they really seem to focus on the clock being set at 8:23, and Gimple says that's deliberate. So I don't know what that means.
That's
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Yeah, I'm sure those are tied in, people.
As I said, Rick has been hurt and he's limping, so I imagine that might be war wounds here. Another one, Rides the Bus, is playing.
Yes, that's Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, and the original song is Another One Bites the Dust. So is that supposed to be telling us something? Another one's bitten the dust. The only
he
one
looks old.
He's older. He has a long white beard.
But nobody else is. Mm-hmm.
Judith looks like she's about 7.
Oh yeah, she does
right?
age. Yeah.
So I
Carl and Michonne look exactly the same.
Yeah, but I think the idea was not that Judith and Rick aged and Carl and Michonne didn't. I think they all aged.
Okay, and they
just look good.
They do look good.
So yeah, we see Carl and Michonne. I don't think we saw anybody else, which is another.
Well, people in the village,
right?
But nobody identifiable.
But to me, that's another signal that this is actually going to come to pass, because that would mean, they don't want to reveal who's still alive. You know, because if it was more of a vision, then it would be more like the Glenn thing where they show the whole cast.
Okay.
And then there's a festival coming up. They're making a big owl. There's a really nice stone house with people tending this lush garden. And so
I'd love to live there.
Yeah, so it seems nice. I mean, I'm sure it's all going to go to hell and there'll be a lot of suffering, but maybe they'll have a moment of, like, right as the festival's starting, there's going to be a huge swarm of giant bees or something.
Yeah, it'll probably be bees. You know,
could be
can I ask you, zombies? Can I ask you a quick question?
That's what they need, zombies.
Zombies.
Brains. What?
If you could live in that happy future, if you could live in that pretty stone cottage there, you and Jenny and the kids in that pretty stone cottage, but I mean, it's still the zombie apocalypse, but they have things under control. Would you be interested in like an extended stay, but maybe not permanently, but would you want to live there? Because I totally would.
No way. I can't have an iPhone. I can't have podcasting.
You can have an iPhone, except it's going to be just like a doorstop.
Yeah.
You could podcast, and if that is around a campfire, you start talking about like your favorite episodes of an old TV show that's no longer on. You can, you can talk about.
It's called just talking to a lot of people
in front of the campfire.
I would like to stay there for a little while, but I'm a creature of the modern age right now. And I wouldn't want to leave my comforts for too long, although I'd get used to it and I'd end up being happier and a better person.
No paperwork
without it. Yeah. I don't have paperwork right now, too much. But I was gonna, so I didn't mention it yet, but I went to the premiere of the Walking Dead in LA.
I know you did.
Me and Rima and Jillian and Karen Shee. They're all listeners. Rima is also a podcaster, and it was a blast. And there was like 6,000 people there watching. And,
it looked so fun. I looked for you guys.
I was gonna wear my Rick Grimes costume, and I put it all on, but I couldn't find the silver watch, and it just didn't look right without the watch. So I put my Apple Watch on. I'm like, no, that's not going to work.
A stickler for detail, man.
Well, then Rima was like, yeah, the Apple Watch isn't going to really work in the zombie apocalypse. And I'm like, it will for the first day.
I'm not even sure it would for the first day. It might for like okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it works for a good 30 hours. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, but let's go on to your number 4.
Okay. And later we can talk a little bit more about what it was like being there at the Greek Theater with Chris Hardwick and the entire cast, because it sounds really fun. Okay. So my number 4 is Maggie being in charge. I loved all the scenes that time and again people saying, Maggie, you're the person in charge. Rick in particular saying that when this is over, I'm going to follow you. That was a very sweet scene. I thought that was lovely.
I also felt so energized by that. And
yeah,
you know, that surprises me. I don't necessarily think I would like that, because Rick's my favorite character. But when he said that, what did he say? Like, I'll be following you once it's over. I just felt like it was a feel good Rocky moment or something. I'm like, I guess Rick is like the wartime president, and Maggie's more the peace. I don't know.
He wants to hang up the sheriff's badge. You know,
Yeah.
I think he would like to not be the one responsible for a little while.
Right. But it was also a total vote of confidence in her. And maybe even I took it like, maybe you could do some of this stuff better than I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
exactly.
I don't argue with that.
I mean, she's had amazing people influence her that we've seen. I mean, of course, Glenn being right up there, but Herschel also, her sister, she's been somebody in the group who's been, groomed for leadership.
And she's been kicking ass too, ever since Glenn died.
Taking names and kicking ass. It's been fantastic. And I love what she said about, what she say? You can still wage war into the second trimester.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
It was funny. And also it just shows that they're all just focused, and they're not like, I mean, you got to know if you're going to go into something like this that you could have casualties, but they're just like, I don't know, centered, they're like, to the point where they can joke around about it.
They can. And that's what I mean also about the tone being a little bit lighter. They're not so worried that they're not able to even joke. They can still joke.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like they're all kind of in a good, clear, focused place.
Confident. Yeah. They've got a plan.
Okay, my turn? Mm-hmm. So this episode had just what we needed, which was a lot of feel-good moments. And just moments that made me feel good. And one was when Rick claimed the world, saying it was theirs by right. Like I'm part of me, I'm like, oh really? You're gonna claim this world? But when he said it, this is our world and it's ours by right. I just felt like, yeah, just take it, dude. Stop being such a wuss and just claim it. And I don't know why that made me feel really good.
Yeah, and that could also mean that the world is sort of everybody's. It's not just this Dick Negan. It's everybody's.
Yes, and he went on to say, any person who would live in peace and fairness, who would find common ground, it's their right too. So
that's
exactly what you're saying.
That's right.
And then he said, but those who use and take and kill to carve out the world and make it theirs alone, we end them. And then he said, we don't celebrate it. We don't have shame about it either. I love that. It's just like,
me too.
You just do what needs to be done.
Yep.
And don't let it weigh on you, but don't gloat either. And then he proceeded to do that by taking out all those lookout people.
Oh, wait, what do you mean? Like, well, I thought it was funny when he said only one person needs to die.
And then he goes and kills a shitload of people.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I
Wait
felt
a
like
second.
that too, yeah. That was a little bit contradictory.
Only one person needs to die, but a lot are gonna die.
Yeah. But when he said there's only one person that has to die and I will kill him myself, that's another one of those feel-good moments that's on my list. It just felt good to hear him say that about Negan.
I don't know. I kind of feel like there are a lot of people that, including Maggie, who would be totally justified in taking out Negan. Like, her beloved was brutally murdered by him, and I think the right could go to Maggie just as easily as it could go to Rick.
Yeah,
just saying.
It could. But as Rick pointed out, I told you what's going to happen twice. And that was another feel good moment on my list because Andrew Lincoln, sometimes when you see them on stage together and they kind of give each other shit, and if he gets a good one in, he has this little twinkle in his eye, and I saw that same Andrew Lincoln twinkle in his eye when he said that. I told you twice.
Twice.
So that I'm like, yeah, dude, he's fucked. But here's my theory. I don't know if I should say this theory because
let's hear it, man.
When you speculate and it comes true, does that ruin it for people? Because I feel like
because you don't have any magic ball.
Yeah, well,
please
skip
ball?
ahead. No, I don't. But just skip ahead like 30 seconds if you don't want to hear my theory.
Jason's crazy theory.
Here it is. That scene where he's got bleary eyed and he's saying the quote about mercy.
Yeah.
Let me be merciful and not wrathful or whatever. I think that's when he decides not to kill Negan. I think we saw a flash forward of that.
And he hasn't been crying. Maybe he just has a bad case of pink eye.
No, I think it's, there's war going on and it's an intense situation and we didn't see, but Negan's right off camera, hogtied and naked.
Why wouldn't you kill him? You kill everybody else without blinking.
Well, so that's just a theory.
Okay.
So, who knows?
All right, listeners, come on back.
Yeah, come on back. Everybody.
Me,
hello.
Hello.
Okay, so then this panning scene as they got ready for battle, the camera went down into the and the one I
was
don't know
one
their
shot,
names, but woman's like, I got your back, and the guy's like, really, you just met me? We all just met each other. Then you see Aaron and Eric talking about praying. I've always meant to start or whatever. Then Jerry gives Enid his arm guard to use as a chest guard. Dude, sternum.
To me, that was the best speech of the entire. I loved it, dude. Sternum.
And then, did you see my photo op with King Ezekiel and Jerry?
Yes,
when Tigger costume.
Yes, yes,
they had
I
big
did.
Smiles on their faces.
I bet they did.
Then it goes to Maggie and Rick and Jesus and Ezekiel, and that's where she says that thing about they say you can wage war through the second trimester. So I just love that whole scene. I mean, this episode was very artfully done in a lot of different ways, I thought.
Greg Nicotero directed.
Yes, he's so good.
He is.
I liked when Rick started naming off the saviors. Dwight, and you're Simon, and you're Gavin, and you, Regina. Okay, and Eugene's all, Rick, I'd feel remiss. No, I know who you are.
That's right.
You just shut up, okay? I know you, and I know what you're all about.
Does that make you think that Rick is not in the forgiving mood for Eugene?
Yes. I mean, the whole point of that speech was, you guys can surrender right now. That was the plan. You guys can surrender right now and you'll be fine. And so I think he was in a forgiving mood, but he still didn't, he's not going to be nice about it.
Yeah. And I think there's still hope that maybe Eugene is going to see some sort of redemption.
I think it's I would be surprised if he does not. But for those who keep saying that this whole thing is one long con, I don't think that's true. I think he's a coward and he's going where he thinks it's most secure. But I think before this is all said and done, he'll have some heroic act to redeem himself. And I think if that happens, I'll be happy.
I'll be happy too.
Yeah, because he's our friend. What else? When Rick says, you're going to make me count? Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7. Bop, 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 bop.
He didn't say I'm going to count to 1
I
or
know.
0. He's just going to count.
Yeah.
Yeah,
5, 10,
and he
15,
counted.
20. Pow. When Simon said to Gregory, I feel like I invested a lot in you and I'm very, very disappointed, and pushes him away. That was pretty funny.
Pushes him away, pushes him down the stairs.
Yeah.
He pushes him down the stairs.
I don't know. There was a lot of stuff. It was funny. There was a lot of good stuff. So
There was.
it made me happy.
I loved it.
I mean,
Yep.
I it's hard for me to tell. Watching it with 6,000 fans can have an impact, right? And my favorite thing is the fans were all excited and kind of unruly and everything. But as soon as it started, this whole stadium is totally silent.
Could you hear it okay?
Oh yeah, they had a great sound system. And that I just love that when you get Walking Dead fans together, like at a party or something,
great.
when it starts, it's quiet. And if there's one person there who's not a fan and they're talking, they get berated like,
Yes.
You
Shut
the fuck
I'm
up, dude.
watching the show. Stop talking. Yeah, that's great. That must have been so fun to see it. Did they have commercials in between, or did they play it all the way through?
It was live, so the timing had to be right.
Oh,
but
sure.
during the commercials, mostly it was just, the Talking Dead logo, so we didn't actually
Right.
see them.
Right.
And then you'd see the actors get up and like hug each other and everything, and then you'd see the production people trying to get them to sit down in the right places before the cameras came
30
back
seconds
on.
to
Come on.
airtime.
And
Yeah.
it was like some of them had to be shooed off stage because they weren't sitting there the whole time. So I don't know what the production people would say. Sorry, Gregory, but you're not in this next segment. I mean, he got raked over the coals, that poor Xander Berkeley.
Yeah, he's just doing his job.
Yeah.
He's a secret hero. He's going to get all kinds of redemption, right?
No, I think so. By the way, I didn't mention it, but we have our Who Dies First contest going. I announced that last episode, and the deadline was before this episode, so you can't enter if you haven't already. But no, none of the people on the list died yet. So I really feel like anybody who picked Gregory has a pretty good chance of winning. Maybe not. But.
That's funny. I think Gregory is going to pull one of these disappearing acts, and we're just never going to see him again. That's what I think.
Just run off.
Maybe, I don't know. He's pretty inept. He'll definitely die. I mean, he's got a car that's got armor on one side. How's he going to get that off? A. B, how's he going to get gas? I mean, he's the least prepared person ever. Okay, so can I actually jump to my number 3?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Gregory. I'm arranging my agenda just a little bit. So, Gregory. Now, I certainly think it was noble of Father Gabriel to consider saving Gregory. What I think is inexplicable is when you're in the car, you're ready to go, you see Gregory right there, help me. Just wave him over, jump in, and take off. That's all you need to do. Do you need to leave
Run
the car
over
with
and
the keys?
Yeah.
Yes, almost
Jump
get
into
shot.
a crowd of zombies. And then he's like saying, wait. And Gregory leaves.
Yeah, and he's
and that
fine.
turned out to be the right thing to do. It was
Yes.
like, maybe you should just follow him.
Jump in the car and then just take.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come
Right.
on.
Like, I don't blame him for trying to save Gregory, mostly because of his past. His big mistake was leaving all his parishioners outside to die, and he's felt guilty about that, so he doesn't want to abandon people anymore, even if it's a sleaze bag.
I get that. I totally get that. On the other hand, he was telling Rick, "Come on, Rick, we gotta go." As Rick was lining up to shoot Negan, and Rick was trying to shoot Negan,
Yeah.
and Father Gabriel was like, "Come on, we gotta go. Come on, it's not about you." And then he stops for Gregory when he could have just been like, "Okay, run over, jump in, come on, let's go."
Yeah. What I loved about that, logistics aside, is for some reason it always tickles me when I see sleazebags doing petty things.
Yes.
I've probably mentioned this before, but Seinfeld's one of my all-time favorite shows, and that what Gregory did was a total Costanza move.
Yeah, exactly.
And I almost put that on my feel-good moments, but I'm like, nah, that probably doesn't count.
I can hear the Seinfeld, like the little... He drives away.
Totally. That's funny. But that whole "Not About You," I was like, okay, Gabriel's telling Rick, remember, it's not about you. But what Seth Gilliam said on Talking Dead was he did that because he thought Rick was too important to lose, even if it might mean also killing Negan. So that is sort of like saying, oh, it's totally about you because we can't lose you. And so if he just said to Rick, remember, it's not about you. And Rick's like, what? I'm confused by that.
No,
What?
here's what I think he was saying. Here's the subtext. Rick, it's not about you. It's about not shooting Negan.
Yeah, we have a whole season left to go, and we don't have any story after that.
Everybody knows don't shoot Negan.
No one wants to see a lush garden and a cobblestone home for 8 episodes.
All right, what's your number 3?
Okay, it's Mercy. And I totally dug that Carl had that encounter with a stranger and he was scared, but then he listened and started to feel compassion, and then Rick came in and shoot him off. And then Carl, and he said, I hope that he's okay or whatever. And Carl's like, that's not enough, Dad. Hope's not enough. And then he came back with some canned food and a note that said, sorry. That was so touching.
It was.
And I was so happy that the dude saw it,
Me too.
And I think, this is addressing what has been happening with Rick, where he has been getting a lot colder about people that he doesn't have in his circle of caring.
Yeah.
And because if you're outside of that, then you could be totally fucked if you're in his presence.
Right.
And Carl sees that and wants to help. And he did some pretty cold things in this episode. One thing was when that dying savior said, he was like, what are you going to do? Beg your way out of it? I saw you beg and cry. And then he said, your son's not going to live. And that Rick just gets steely and then lets that zombie go eat the guy alive.
Hatchets the zombie rope so that he can go and consume him. Yeah.
And everybody in the Greek theater, all 6,000 of them were like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to get desensitized to that kind of cruelty. He just let a zombie go and devour a guy alive. That is pretty fucked up to be eaten alive. Like if you're angry that a guy threatened your son, then go put him out of his misery at that point. I guess that's cool. Like just stab him in the head or shoot him or something.
Right.
But to let and listeners are like, come on, shut up. But that I just don't like. I don't want to let myself get desensitized to that kind of violence. So I'm
agree.
like, dude, that's fucking cold, dude.
That was cold.
And then there was a part of me that was like, that's what you get for fucking with Rick too. So I have both sides going on. And I thought that was a great scene too at the same time. Like I've always said, I think Rick is getting really dark and it's scary, but I like watching it. And so I thought that was a good scene, but I also like that they're putting some attention on it with this stranger talking about mercy and whatever you have, spend it on the traveler and all this. And Carl sort of, we used to think that Carl was in danger of being bred into this little psycho, but now he's showing a more compassionate side, and I think that's awesome.
Yep,
I got to have some humanity in this show. I got to have people caring about people, because if everyone is just a cold, hard, ruthless killer, then I can't watch it anymore.
No, everybody would jump at that point, I think.
I don't know, man. It scares me sometimes how bloodthirsty and celebratory the audience is about just kill, kill, kill. Sometimes, and I'm like, I can get into that sometimes, but there's got to be elements of, because especially with the tone being so sincere and serious and grounded. If it was more like Ash versus Evil Dead, then it's just a big joke, so it doesn't matter, right? But it's not a joke on this show.
It's not. It's not. Okay, number 2. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say my number 2 is The Plan. And in the past, I've been kind of critical of their half-baked plans to, to forge ahead. They've done some dumb things in the past. But I have to say, this time, at least right now, seems like this plan is working. For starters, they have a list which may have been created by Dwight of where all the lookouts are located. So they've been able to take out all the lookouts. So, okay, they've got a plan. They were carefully crossing out all the lookouts, right?
Luckily, all the lookouts are none of them are in pairs. They're all singles.
They're all singles, and they all were looking other places. Yeah, so they were easy to. But I have to say, the one lookout from the top of the perch falling over.
That was awesome.
I don't know how they did that, but man, that was really cool. Like, did they replace the guy at the top with a dummy? I mean, I don't know how they did it, but it looked really real.
Yeah.
So well done. However you guys did it, nicely done.
The Morgan one was pretty badass.
Yeah, it really was. There's the steak, right? And it seemed all very organized and very well thought out. And they leave people back in Alexandria, which is good because Michonne was beat up in the season finale. And by the way, she's in Black Panther, so maybe they wanted to give her a little time in Black Panther.
And that's a little parallel to her saying to Carl, "I'll help you protect this place." It's sort of like saying you're in charge.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's kind of similar feeling to when Rick said that to Maggie.
Right. Next generation. Rosita, who was apparently pregnant when that was filmed. So, and she's also kind of beat up. And Carl, and by the way, we know that the actor Chandler Riggs is enrolled at university right now. So maybe that's why he had less of a role in the whole thing. But anyway, so left some people back at Alexandria, which is good. Rick, he coordinates with Dwight. Actually, Daryl coordinates with Dwight via
by Arrow.
Arrow mail, which I was charmed by. I have to say, I was totally charmed by it. I watched that one like twice. I'm like, let me see that again. That's awesome.
Like Daryl makes sure to puncture the motorcycle tire that Dwight's working on.
Right, exactly. It was awesome. I like that people were identified with armbands. So that if you're wondering who's who, you've got an armband. Smart.
Yeah, which is which? Alexandrians are white.
Yes.
Kingdom's red or orange, and Hilltop's green.
Right. Super smart. I like that the attempt to lead the zombie horde, which in the past has proven unsuccessful for our people, this time it seemed to mostly work.
Yeah, so that's what Tara and them were doing, right?
Yeah.
They were using explosions to lead them to the sanctuary.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I liked that whole scene too, where she's timing him and then they don't come and she's like, shit. And then they come around. She's like, close enough.
Close enough. I'm telling you, zombies, if you're not 10 seconds early, you're 10 seconds late.
Mm-hmm. And then they're working with Dwight because that also was to get some of the saviors out of there.
Right.
And
exactly.
He hears one of the other saviors going, I want blood, I want screams. And he goes, well, maybe you'll get lucky. And that means that it might be, he's saying it might be you.
Yes.
Which was clever.
Their armament, their big shields seem to work. I mean, I was worried if they'd have to make any kind of turns. Like, what if that car has to turn to the right or that car has to turn to the left? But whatever. It seemed to work, and it looked cool. And the surprise explosions were super cool, and that worked out too. So, mostly I thought the plan was great. I'm kind of wondering why we are waiting at this point, maybe because the zombies have to work their magic. They open up the gates, the zombies go in, and then they just wait and see what happens at that point.
I mean, the idea was to first offer them a surrender.
Sanctuary, right.
Yeah.
I mean, not sanctuary, but...
Kind of,
sorry.
yeah. I mean, like
it is guys, sanctuary, but little less sanctuary.
Not capital S sanctuary, but
right.
Yeah, but then when they heard the fighting, Daryl off in the distance, he said it was always going to go that way. So he knew that they wouldn't take that deal.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's no way Negan was going to. The one criticism I have is that they seem to be wasting a lot of bullets firing up at buildings when I was like, ammo. We know that ammo is in short supply, so stop.
So why not
your
aim at Negan? That was my one big criticism of this episode. And
can we talk about that?
People wrote in about it that he's standing out there in the open. And they're they have cover, and there's several of them with guns. So they could have easily sniped him. Now, Scott, I was so critical of that. But then Scott Gimple said, Well, here's why they did that, because Rick wanted to offer this surrender and have it work out where they chose to come with him, and then, you know, everybody would be on the same page. Whereas if they just shot Negan, then that might just cause a war that could have been averted. But Negan didn't know that. So why is Negan standing out there in the middle of everything like, I don't care.
And with his arms wide open.
Like, this would have been a good episode to get some of that characterization and that deepening of Negan's character that we've been wanting.
It's never going to happen.
Instead, he was just really flip and smiling. And even when he's in the trailer with Father Gabriel and there's zombies all around, he's just got that like look on his face. I mean, you'd think at some point they might show him worried or something.
Yeah.
So it seems like he just doesn't care whether he dies, or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. Also, if that's the case, if Rick really is trying to not shoot Negan, then why does he count down to 7 and then start firing. like a stormtrooper? Good point. And yes. You know, and then he also is trying to pick him off later when Negan's crawling away.
Yeah.
I don't buy that, Scott and Gimple.
If they'd really planned it out, then Rick should have said, when I say 9, you know, you guys, three of you, shoot Negan.
Shoot Negan. And if you happen to get one of the other generals up there, oh well. Right. Try not to hit Dwight.
Or Eugene.
You know? Or Eugene, right? If you hit Eugene, well, it's fine.
Yeah, because like if they're gonna like, I understand you don't want to kill Negan off by sniper fire this early in the season because they have a lot more story to tell. But then don't have a scene like that where he's out in the open and the whole audience is going, "What? Why don't they just shoot him?" Like,
right.
Don't have that.
And we also know that Rick Grimes is a good shot. We know that he's a good shot.
Not today.
Not today. He fired like a frickin' stormtrooper today.
Yep.
Come on. All right, go right ahead, hon. Your turn.
Well, my number 2 was the same thing. It was just, I was going to talk about what happened. And, you know, I said before, I think we kind of know what happened and you laid it all out. So I think we have a pretty good understanding of the current events of what their plan was and how they carried it out. Although, there's one thing at the end. They're infiltrating this area with these big satellite dishes. And I'm not sure what that was. And then one of the guys throws off this smoke bomb and then zombies come. And I think that's where the episode ended. So they're in the middle of chaos. And I don't know if that was just another outpost or what was going on there.
Right.
So yeah, number 1.
Okay, my number 1. We kind of already talked about it. It's Daryl's sharpshooting on the motorcycle. I just loved it. I loved when Daryl was driving away on a motorcycle. I used to ride a motorcycle. I know you rode a motorcycle. And him on a motorcycle shooting, steering, and looking behind him and shooting. I think he shoots like 5 or 6 times and he hits targets that explode. And you know, he said ahead of time, he's like, this is going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And it looked really fun. Yeah. So it looked great. It looked badass. And I was like, that's like, it's the perfect quintessential Daryl Dixon on a motorcycle being a badass.
Yeah.
So it was
Why
great.
not? Right. And especially when there's a zombie right near one of them and it explodes.
Yes. And he goes flying. So that's kind of great.
That's fine. And gratuitous zombie explosions are fine.
Yeah,
with Daryl on a motorcycle firing.
Let's call that.
Hell yeah!
In fact, let's call that the zombie kill of the week.
All right. Okay, my number 1 is individual versus the group, and you've mentioned a couple times that Rick says it's not about him, and I like that because he's trying to say, don't make this whole thing about me. It's about the group, the survival of the group. Yep. But on a meta level, this series has been centered on him the whole time. He's the main character, but also it's an ensemble piece. So it's kind of like both are true. And then they're talking, Gabriel's telling him, well, it starts with an individual, like, and he sort of makes a comparison. Negan, that his ethos dribbles down to all the saviors, you know?
Right.
And same with Rick. Like the person at the top, like in a company culture, you know, with Uber, Travis Kalanick or whatever his name is, he's a total asshole. And the whole company is infected with this,
right.
like sexism and everything. So it's interesting just to think about, well, they're all individuals, but this one person really does have an outsized influence.
Right.
And I liked when I liked when Ezekiel says, to quote the bard, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, today my sister. So it's all about working together and togetherness.
Yeah.
And then Shiva growled at it, and I wondered if Shiva's a girl, because she growled when he said, today my sister. And then Maggie says, we may have to face uncertainty for days, even longer. We have to keep our faith in each other. If we can hold on to that, the future is ours. So that's all about togetherness and being, you know, having faith in each other. I also wondered if that was foreshadowing that maybe they won't keep faith in each other or something like that, and it'll cause problems. And then the whole thing about passing on leadership, I feel like is involved in that a little bit. Like if Rick's saying it's not about me, it's sort of about Maggie potentially in the future.
Right. And Michonne sort of saying, you know, I'll help you.
Carl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I like that. Just sort of Rick subverting his ego a little bit. That's
I like
it's
it
just
too.
It's a very likable thing to do, by the way.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree.
So this podcast, I would say, is not about me, Karen. It's about you.
It's about us together, sharing power.
That's right. Any notes?
I do have some notes. The magic Polaroid camera on the dashboard of the car.
What was that all about? Why did he take a Polaroid?
I think he took a Polaroid because I think he's going to stick it in his pocket for later, and then he's going to wave it in front of Negan and say, when I had the opportunity to kill you, I walked away and showed mercy. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. But I've also read that I think one of our listeners said that the sanctuary saviors are all about taking Polaroid shots of zombie kills they've had and others. Like, didn't they take a shot of pulverized Glenn and pulverized Abraham?
Yeah, I wonder if it was something
maybe
like that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but it was weird. It was like, we have to go. Okay, I'm just gonna take this picture from this Polaroid camera that I found right here. So kind of a funny little thing. Also, mostly new imagery in the opening credits. I was too excited to watch the darn thing. I didn't go over the opening credits, but I will at some point.
A few new ones.
Yeah.
There was, let's see, Denai Guerrera over a sword hilt. I think that was new.
Oh, okay.
And Christian Serratos over a couple of semi-automatic guns. And there was Seth Gilliam over this like big water drainage pipe or something. I'm not sure if that has any significance, but there were a lot of the same ones too, like Rick over his gun, and so they just mixed it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Elena Masterson over the big satellite dish for some reason. Last season it was a boat.
She is a dish.
That's good.
Chandler Riggs, his voice is deeper. It was kind of cute.
Baby.
Yeah, his voice is deeper. Dad. I thought it was sweet. The couple, Eric and Aaron, fighting side by side. That was nice. And
Don't get
finally,
used to that.
What? Is that some sort of spoiler?
But if I had to pick my who dies first, if I was going to enter, I'd say Eric. Hey, it's got to be somebody.
I don't want it to be him. I don't want it to be any
Aaron,
of the people
then.
I love. Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. No, I love that guy. Also, did you